President Biden talks racial equity. What a joke. There's actually a couple things I want to talk about in this video, and the first being is what you see here. Now, I want you to notice who this video is by, and then I want you to notice what's underneath the video. Now, we all know that ABC and other news organizations like to give tongue baths to Biden. They like to keep the propaganda flowing, but the fact that there's a tag underneath an ABC video, wow, that's interesting. Like many of you, I thought these tags were bullshit when they first came out, but then I was like, you know what? If the solution to bad speech is more speech, then let all the social media companies make all the bad speech they want. That's fine. You and I know what's horseshit, hopefully. So yeah, the guy that wrote the crime bill helped Obama militarize the police, helped a lot of black people get into jail, and then picked a vice president that helped a lot of black people get into jail, used those black people for cheap labor, and refused to release them after her state ordered her to release them. These are people who are going to help with racial equity. And in this video, he talked about a white supremacy problem. Yeah, some problem. If you use the capital as a percentage of the population, that's what, 0.001%? Because there was only a couple thousand rioters at the Capitol? Even if you multiply that tenfold, it's still nothing compared to the population of our country. Oh, but systemic racism. Well, systemic racism is something we've always had to deal with in one form or another. Because if it isn't a malevolent ism, it's a benevolent ism. The whole idea of fighting racism with racism, that's what we've been doing these past couple of decades. And what do I mean? Well, a benevolent ism, let me put it like this way. Have you ever had veal? I've had veal. It was okay. But then I found out how veal was made. See, the way veal is made is when a calf is born, it gets shoved in a little box. Then it's just stuck there, can't move, but all of its needs are met. It gets fed, it gets cleaned. It doesn't have to want for anything. I mean, sure, maybe it wants to get up and walk around, but it doesn't have to. It can't. It's trapped in a box and so forth. Don't go outside. It's dangerous. Don't play with those kids. They're bad. Don't talk to that person, so forth and so on. Don't have these thoughts, so forth and so on. Well, what happens to that calf? It gets slaughtered, made into food. But let's suppose that it doesn't get slaughtered. Let's suppose that all of a sudden that calf gets set free into the wild. How's it going to survive? It's never had to take care of itself. It's never even had to walk. How's it going to fend off predators or run away from predators? How is that child going to recognize when they're getting the wool pulled over their eyes? Oh, but maybe one day that calf can just be let out of the box and it can just be taught how to be a calf. Why would it want to be? Why would it want to change? It's had everything taken care of. Why should it have to change how it thinks? Why should it change how it has to live its life? It's always known one particular life, and that particular life was it gets everything it wants. Why should it change? No, the rest of the world should change. The calf should never have to work towards anything. The calf should never have to compromise in everything. It should never have to treat others like people if they don't agree. Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't have to treat others like calves if those other calves don't agree with that initial calf's viewpoints. But it's got to be angry at everybody because the box was all of a sudden taken away. We hear about these people all the time. They're pretty easy to identify. They all have blue check marks next to them. But you know what? Why am I talking about this? We don't need to worry, right? Joe Biden's president. And once again, we can all go back to sleep, right? And as I've said before, the first step to being locked into a nightmare is to go to sleep.